Hey again. Okay, so now we're going to talk about kind of another concept with decimals, which is rounding. Okay, because in whole numbers, if I have, if I'm going to round up to the next number, it's like 5 or more, right? That's what makes me round up. And if I round back to the same number, it's going to be for like 0 through 4, right? Let me change this. It's like 5 to 9, right? That means I round up. If it's 0 to 4, I round back to my original number. It's the same way for decimals. Okay, so let's look at an example. If I have 5.7, and I round that to the nearest, I want to round that to the nearest whole number, or the nearest like dollar, if you think about it that way, okay? I have to figure out what place I'm going to round to, because this is my whole number, right? That's my ones place. It's dependent on this guy. Is that 7, 5, or more? And it is. It's more than 5, so that means that I'm going to round to 6. What about this one? Let me get this pen back. Now I want to round 2.1 to the nearest whole number. So to that place, I'm going to look at that guy. Is this 5 or more? And the answer is no, it's less than 5, right? So I'm going to round it down to 2. This same thing keeps happening even if I have a bigger number. Let's look at a bigger number here. I have 1.099. 1 and 99 thousandths, right? I want to round this to the nearest whole number. Okay, so even though it's got junk over here, I'm only looking at that spot. What's in that spot right there? It's a 0. So that means to round to the nearest whole number is going to be 1. Okay, what if I wanted to round to a place behind the decimal? I can totally do that too, right? I want to round 68 hundredths. I want to round that to the nearest tenth. So let me grab a different color here. Okay, my tenths place is here, right? It's going to be dependent on that number to the right of it. Is this 8 more than 5? And the answer is yes, it is. So that means that that 6 is going to bump up, and then my decimal point, I just return to the same place. So I would say that 68 hundredths rounds to 7 tenths. And if it was, let me erase this, if it was whole number land, right, it would round to 70, right? If I was rounding to the nearest, like, tens place, I would round it to 70. That's really what we've just done here. That's all we've done. They just happen to have a decimal point in front of them. So it's the same kind of thing. Let's look at another example of this. I want to round 2 and 83 hundredths. I want to round him to the nearest tenth place. Where is my tenths place? It is right here, right? It's dependent on that guy. Okay, is that 3, 5 or more? And the answer is no. So that means that this guy's going to stay the same decimal point, and that's going to actually stay the same too. So to round 2 and 83 hundredths to the nearest tenth will mean 2 and 8 tenths. Let's look at another example. What if I wanted to round to the nearest hundredth? So that's 3 places behind the decimal point, right? I want to round 2 places behind the decimal point. I want to round 1 and 527 thousandths. I want to round it to the nearest hundredth place. So 2 spots behind my decimal point. Again, dependent on that guy. That's 7. He's 5 or more, right? So to round 1.527 to the nearest hundredth, it's going to be that. 1 and 53 hundredths. Let's look at another example. What if I had that? 10 and 75 thousandths. And I want to round it to the nearest hundredth, right? There's my hundredths place. Oh, and then I got that guy in the wrong spot. I'm looking to the guy to the right of him, right? This is 2 spots behind my decimal. He's impacted by this guy. Is that 5 or more? And in this case, it is. So that means that this guy right here becomes an 8, and everything to the left of it stays exactly the same. So 10 and 75 thousandths, if I'm rounding that to the nearest hundredth, it's going to be 10 and 8 hundredths. Let's look at another example. $333 thousandths. And again, I want to round to the nearest hundredth. Okay, so it's impacted by this guy. Is that 5 or more? And the answer is no. So that means that this guy stays the same right here, and everything to the left of it stays the same. So 333 thousandths will remain 33 hundredths.